In medieval Europe, the regulation of trade was essential to maintain order and ensure trust within communities. Merchants were expected to adhere to ethical practices, such as maintaining the correct weights and measures, selling quality goods, and being truthful in their transactions. Any breach of trust could damage not only an individual's reputation, but also undermine the wider economic system. Punishment for dishonest merchants varied depending on the nature and severity of the offense. Minor infractions, such as minor discrepancies in weight or minor overcharging, might be met with warnings or fines. For instance, town officials or guilds that regulated trade could impose monetary penalties to deter future misbehavior. In cases of repeated or more severe offenses, punishments could be escalated. Public shaming was a common method employed to deter dishonest behavior. One form of public humiliation was the pillory, a wooden framework with holes for the head and hands, which held the offender in place. The merchant would be displayed in a busy marketplace or town square, where passers-by could mock or pelt them with rotten food. This type of punishment served a dual purpose. It penalized the merchant, while sending a clear message to others about the consequences of dishonest conduct. The practice of public shaming was effective due to the strong emphasis medieval society placed on reputation. Guilds played an important role in regulating merchants and punishing dishonest members. These organizations, made up of skilled workers and traders, established rules for fair practice and quality control. If a member was caught violating these rules, the guild could impose fines or expel the individual from the group. Expulsion was one of the most severe punishments because it effectively barred the merchant from participating in trade, leading to significant economic and social consequences. Guilds worked diligently to maintain their reputation, so any act of dishonesty that threatened the guild's standing was dealt with harshly. In addition to fines and public shaming, physical punishments were sometimes used for severe infractions. These could include whipping or the cutting off of an ear to mark an individual as a cheat. Such corporal punishments were meant to serve as a deterrent and to visibly indicate the nature of the person's crime. In some towns, repeat offenders could face imprisonment or, in extreme cases, execution, especially if their actions led to significant economic disruption or were part of larger schemes of fraud. The punishment of dishonest merchants was not uniform across all of medieval Europe. Practices varied widely depending on the local laws. For example, in regions influenced by the church, dishonesty in trade could be seen as a moral failing as well as an economic crime. Merchants could be subjected to religious penance, which might include fasting, prayer, or the public confession of their sins. The church's involvement underscored the belief that fairness in trade was tied to broader moral and ethical principles. One practice known as ordeal by water, often used in determining guilt or innocence. In this practice, an accused person might be bound and submerged in water. The belief was that if they floated, they were guilty because the water rejected them, and if they sank, they were innocent but could drown in the process. This method was more associated with religious or witch trials than with the punishment of merchants. Punishments for dishonest practices extended beyond local traders to include foreign merchants operating within medieval towns. Foreign traders were sometimes viewed with suspicion, and if they were caught engaging in fraudulent activities, they could face even harsher penalties. The purpose was to protect local economic interests and maintain trust in the market. These punishments could include expulsion from the town or region and the revocation of trading privileges, which would severely impact the merchant's ability to conduct business across different territories. The judicial process for dealing with dishonest merchants often involved local courts or tribunals specifically established to oversee trade matters. These courts, known as pea powder courts in some regions, dealt with disputes quickly to avoid disrupting market activities. The name pea powder referred to the dusty feet of traveling merchants who brought cases before the court. These courts could impose swift judgments, ranging from fines to more severe punishments.